better leave the North Pole and come down to Trinidad.
All right, everybody, so welcome back, and we're playing that song for our next guest. And while the gentleman is not policing and he's not working, he likes to make black cakes. Sergeant Ancil Ford is on the line. You know, studio laughing. The gentleman likes to make black cakes. Mr. Ford, good morning. Can you confirm that for us?
Pleasant morning, Marlan. And yes, I love to make black cake. And indeed, I make a very good black cake, Marlan. I haven't had any complaints. No complaints.
Mr.
And
Ford,
in fact, listeners are looking forward to black cake.
Mr. Ford, is a black cake without alcohol?
I would say no. I would say no. Right? One of the ingredients, one of the things people look forward to is the strong taste of alcohol in your black cake. If you don't want alcohol and you want a fruit cake.
Mr. Ford, always good to see and speak with you. I know you like this time of the year. But a number of things happen at this time of the year, and a number of people are inconvenienced and traumatized because of the behavior of certain people in Trinidad and Tobago. So what are the tips that you have for us this morning?
Okay, Marlan, the Commissioner of Police has started, a sensitization drive in relation to fraud and fraud offenses, right?
Yeah.
So for the last couple of segments, we have focused on fraud and advised the members of the public, and more so, seeing that the Christmas season is upon us, and we know for a fact that two things are going to take place. Persons are going to be out there shopping. Fraudsters are going to be out there looking for victims. All right? So we are still focusing on speaking to members of the public on how they can safeguard themselves against being defrauded, all right? Because the fraudsters, they are outside there. And the fact remains that we, the police, we cannot be everywhere. We cannot police every business institution, all right? We cannot police everybody or all individuals. What we have to do is rely on being able to communicate to everybody via this particular medium and others, hoping that the sense of awareness, it will reach to them. And the information that we give to them, that they will apply it, right, in the way in which they go about to do business. And we believe that that could bring about positive results in terms of the reduction of the number of persons who are affected by fraud and fraudulent activities. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
So, Marlan, one of the most important things for business persons as well as individuals to understand, you need to verify every transaction, particularly when you're dealing with cash, particularly when you're dealing with, let us say, credit cards, particularly when you're dealing with checks. All right? More or less, these are the mediums through which persons would come to you in person. We do have the online aspect, right, which we'll also speak to. So the first rule, Marlan, is to verify. You, the person, you, the business person, you have to put the system in place to ensure that, one, you can verify that whatever transaction is, that at the end of it, it is a bona fide transaction and not a transaction that amounts to you being defrauded, all right? So let's get straight to the one of the main issues here. Dealing with cash transactions.
Mm-hmm.
Marlan, there are counterfeit currencies outside there, all right? There are reports of persons being defrauded. I want to say even significant sums of money by way of they accepting counterfeit currency, believing it to be genuine, and later discovering that it is indeed counterfeit. But too late, because why? The person who gave it to you has long gone with your genuine currency. All right? So what you have to do when you're dealing with cash, one of the most important things is to verify, that is, make your personal checks in relation to the currency. In order for you to do so, you have to familiarize yourself with the security features, all right? Now, some time ago, I want to say the public would have been sensitized through official sources, right? In terms of security features. Sometimes you go to financial institutions and you see that they advertise currency, different types, local and foreign, and they outline the security features for you, right?
Yes.
We need to get back to that, where it is business persons in particular, they inform themselves whether they need to visit the Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago's website to remind themselves of the particular security features, right? Local currency, and I think they may even have foreign currency that you can look at. And not only for you, you need to train your staff, persons who are actually dealing with cash, receiving cash in particular, right? So we're talking about your cashiers, even probably your supervisors, right? So that they would be familiar and they would be able to carry out that first check to determine if it is that the currency has the security features, right? Now, that is just one aspect, training, that is sensitization, making sure the persons are aware, but then you also need to employ other means to aid you in that process. So we talk about the UV light source, right? Mm-hmm. That is not very expensive, that you can install and ensure that your staff uses it. Now, something that you need to consider is how busy your business place might be. And the fact that your cashier or cashiers may not have that time to slow down the process to verify a series of currency, right? Particularly $100 bills, even foreign currency. You need to have somebody separate and apart who they can refer that person to ensure that that person could verify the currency properly, because the cashier may not have that time, because of how busy your business place is, right? That is one thing that you can put in place. Now, we also speak in relation to the other means of deterrent, having cameras, right? Cameras allows us the ability that if it is that somebody does indeed pass off fraudulent currency, that we can aid or we can do an investigation, and the camera footage may help us, right? We also encourage persons that if it is you receive any fraudulent currency, report it to the police, all right? Don't just take it and stick it up in your business place and accept the fact, okay, I was, defrauded, as the case may be. Report it, because we need to investigate it. We need to identify these persons so that we can put a stop to what is taking place.
But Mr.
Right?
Ford, how does a business deal with someone who comes to do a transaction and they do have in their possession counterfeit notes? And I want to put it in this context, because I think that every person who comes to the organization, they are not criminals. And there may be an innocent person who has in their possession these counterfeit notes. So what does the business do in that situation? And what does the person who has these counterfeit notes, what are the consequences for that person?
All right, now Marlan, in terms of the business person casts no judgment on the person who bought the currency, right? Mm-hmm. The business person is simply taking the position that, okay, this is fraudulent based on what my checks, right? You need to hold on. I am going to call the police, right? Call the police. Now that person who is there, if it is that the person decides that they are trying to abscond, I spoke previously in terms of the powers of arrest that civilians have, right? And nothing prevents you as the business person from causing that person to be detain, as in arresting that person based on your civilian powers of arrest, because it appears that the person would have committed an offense. And when you're dealing with, I want to say, forgery, we're talking about an offense where persons can be arrested without a warrant. It is an arrestable offense, right? And the business person has that power to detain that person and call the police.
But Mr. Ford, that can result in some challenges, you know. I mean, for a little peewat like me, if people within an organization, if I unknowingly have counterfeit currency in my possession, and I go there with a $20, a fake note and so on, and you want to detain me for that, I'm telling you, Mr. Ford, there could be some problems. I'm going to have to make a call to you, you know, because he or she not detaining me, you know. But go ahead. I want you to expound on this.
So, Marlan, if it is that the person has no cocoa in the sun,
all right,
the person may not have any difficulty in you calling the police.
Yes.
The time that the person may have to wait might be another factor, right? But nothing prevents you from making that report to the police. If it is that you have cause to arrest that person, if it is that you do not have cause to arrest the person, and by other means, you can cause the police to be able to interview that person by way of the information you have of that person, the camera footage you have of that person. All of these things would aid us to further an investigation, right?
But I suspect it may not be a bad piece of advice for even the person who has this counterfeit money in their possession to call the police. I'm just saying.
Well, either parties can call the police, because at the end of the day, if it is that
you
have well, Marlan, I would come. If you have no cocoa in sun, Marlan, then you have no cocoa in sun. But the real idea behind this issue here is we want to have persons in a better position to respond to a situation like that, right? So we are advising that you can detain that person, call the police, let the police do the investigation. You are not casting any aspersions on the person. However, there's a fact that you have counterfeit currency in your possession, and it came from a particular source. The investigation will determine where the source and where it came from and so on, right? Right. So from that perspective, Marlan, we believe that sense of awareness, training of staff and so on, could reduce the number of reports or instances where persons try to pass off counterfeit currency on other people, right? Now, think about it this way, Marlan. If somebody offers you a significant sum of, let us say, foreign currency, you understanding that at this point in time there's a challenge nationally, right, where Forex is concerned, and yet still this person has a seemingly abundance that they can offer to you. That's a red flag, right? And you, the business person who is in dire need of foreign currency, cannot take that bait and simply part with your money. No, you have to be thinking and recognizing that something is wrong here. Who are you? And where would you have this source of foreign currency from? That is something that you need to start, ask yourself, all right? As opposed to simply seen as an opportunity, and then you meet with that person, pass off your hard-earned dollars, and then realize, hey, what? It's counterfeit currency I was given, right? Mm-hmm. That is long after the fact. We want to prevent that. So we want to be proactive as opposed to reactive, yes? So let's move away a bit now, Marlan, from the foreign currency to the online transactions, yes?
Yeah.
Marlan, persons are still, I want to say, being tricked into scams, all right? Online scams. And again, the general rule here is verify. Everything that you engage in, particularly when you're dealing with I want to say financial transactions, right? Verify. Do not just simply give in So there are things that you need to do.
Mr. Ford, I just have about 2 minutes, sir.
Sure. One, Marlan, you withhold your personal information. That is important, right?
Yeah.
2, you verify. 3, ask yourself about the history with this entity. Do you have any history? Do you have any knowledge? All right? If not, don't be too hurried to get into any transaction. The power of delay. Excuse me. You see that power of delay? That is what you have control over. To delay your response to any particular thing. It may be genuine, but by you delaying, it allows you the opportunity to verify. You can in turn turn the tables around and ask for information from that person or that institution, whether it's online, whether it's via social media platforms. You are asking now for information about that person, and you adopt the position that I will call the institution, or I will contact the institution personally, as opposed to giving any of your information.
Yeah.
These safeguards, Marlan, will definitely help you to not become a victim of these scams, all right? Because the person who is trying to perpetrate the scam, they don't want you to have that time to verify. They don't want you to have any way of preventing them from getting through with their particular fraud. All right?
Yeah.
So that power of delay is what we encourage persons to exercise. Slow down the process, yes? And when necessary, make a report to the police so we become aware and we'll be able to investigate. Yes?
Yeah.
So, Marlan, thank you very much.
Of course. Mr. Ford, always good to see and speak with you. I believe we have you back with us here next week, just before the Christmas. So we'll speak then. In the meantime, take care, sir. Bye for now.
Okay, sure. Take care. Have a good day.
All right, everybody. We're coming back.